Channel, the Underdog Research Channel, and I'm the principal researcher of all things technology, Underdog Researcher, where we put the research over the hype. Let's get started. Good day, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. This is the Underdog Research Channel. Thank you for being here today. We are live with a DogPile session. If you don't know what a DogPile session, let me explain what that is. Over the course of the last few months, we went over a project called SWFT and MetaPath. And throughout that research, as I've conducted research on these particular technologies, there's been information that comes up that you may have questions about. Well, I've received hundreds of comments and I reply to these comments on a daily basis as much as I can. But to do so is kind of a disconjointed effort because a lot of you have the exact same questions or just asking something about the research I've conducted. Some of you have inquiries about research that you would like to know more about. And some of you have inquiries about better clarifying information that you've learned. Since it's such a broad aspect of information that is being requested, what I like to do is these DogPile sessions. So tonight, throughout the conversation, what I'm planning on doing is speaking to you, and you will talk to me through the comments that you will put in the chat. You can leave a comment after this video is posted. And I want to know your inquiries about any of the research that I've conducted since I first started looking at SWFT or MetaPath. Now, I'm going to go through and I'm going to go through each one of the research products that I have provided you. And during that time frame, I want you to take a moment to type your comments in the live chat, as well as leave a comment in the regular chat. And I will bring those questions up and I'll be collecting this information from you. So without further ado, let's get started and let's see if I can get some of these questions answered for you. And the first research that I did, SWFT, this video at the time that I'm doing this particular live stream has received over 4,000 views. Now, this video is the most watched video currently about the project SWFT that I have found on the World Wide Web. Now, throughout this particular video, it is a lot of questions about the introductory things about SWFT. What I'd like to do is at this time, I'm going to go to sharing my screen and we're going to find that video and I'm going to go to the time-coded sections of that video. And I want to hear from you as the community about this particular video, about questions you may have. So as I go through it, you can go there yourself, go to YouTube, put in Underdog Research Channel, and then also make sure that you select SWFT. You should see that particular thumbnail that you see on your screen right now. So I'm going to go there myself as we speak, and let's pull this video up. And let's look at the time-coded video, and let's get some of this information out so we can talk about it. So as I look this up, make sure that you, if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. Or if you don't want to like and subscribe, just do one of the two. And that way you can get this information. Go ahead and set your notifications to all notifications so that you can receive any new content or research that I provide. All right, so now I've found the video. I'm going to make sure I pause the sound. And I'm going to go to the time code. If you're here still with me, you have on your screen SWFT, and this is the very first video. So now I'm going to share this video with you. And then we'll go through the time-coded video to talk about sections of the video. And then I'll look at your comments and I will add that to this particular presentation. So let's go to share screen and let's see what we have here. Yeah, I think this is it. And it is. All right. So on your screen, you should be seeing the video of me in a very weird looking way. Talking about Bitcoin. So let's go to the time code of this video, and then I'll be going back and forth with this time code. Let me move this to a second screen so I can see a little bit better. And let me put this on StreamYard. All right. So if you can't see that, let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. All right. So now we have a little bit bigger. Let me make this full screen for you. And then I'll go to questions I see in the chat. So let's do this full screen and go walk through this. So starting at the beginning of the Swift Coin video, we have welcome to Swift Coin blockchain. Then it's a introductory dive into Swift Coin blockchain project. So the first thing that comes up was discovering the world of Chinese red envelopes. And this was a conversation that I had with you regarding red packets and red envelopes, the significance of Swift Pro, the application for Swift Coin, and sending digital gifts called red envelopes. If you had a question about that section of this particular video, if you want to know more about red envelopes and the significance, please leave a question at this time in the chat. Next, we talked about Swift Coin red packets and red envelopes, and we moved on and we started talking about the cross boundaries capabilities of Swift blockchain and its bridge. So if you have questions about that, make sure that you leave a question in the chat so we can get that out. We then moved on to the Swift API and the swap and the seamless transactions. So if you are confused or want to know more about the Swift API or the Swift swap feature, this is your opportunity. Leave a comment about that section. Now, as I walked you through Swift Pay, I explained to you exactly how Swift Pay would work and exactly what you would need to do in order to make it work and what the business aspect of what Swift Pay did. Now, at this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my face back onto the video, look at your comments and see, does anyone have any comments or questions about that? I will bring it up and capture it at this time. So let's see what we have starting off with. So we have one question here that we'll note. It says, outside of MetaPath, who is Matthew O'Neill and what kind of influence and skills does he possess to move the needle forward for MetaPath and Swift? All right, so that would be one of the potential researchable questions. If this information is on open source intelligence information that I can provide for you, I'll provide that. If I don't see some of this information that may be requested is on something called closed source. This is paid information. Currently, right now, one of the things that I'm doing is increasing the amount of abilities that I can do, which will require participation for the community and supporting the channel, so I can get into more closed source information. But if I find that on open source, I will provide that information. Let's see what else we have as a question. Besides having first mover advantage, what makes Swift a highly demanded cross-chain swap? So now this is going to be more of a research question based on potentially perspectives. What I'll try to do with a question such as this is not so much give you my personal opinion unless I'm being asked. I'm going to have to use a comparator. This means I'm going to use Swift Coin and what its utility is, what problem it is supposed to resolve, and find other projects, maybe one or two, as comparators and see or compare and contrast to see what this project is compared to others in the market and the industry it's in. So thank you for that question. Let's bring up the next question. Have you found any footage of Rambo Boland? And does he speak English? He's much like Jasmy's founder because I have yet to find any footage of them claiming to be part of their prospective projects. So to answer your question about Rambo Boland, I have not found any videos for Rambo Boland. I have done cursory searches on that. Now, again, tonight is not going to be about me answering these questions, but this was one that I can readily answer for you. Now, I do know that if you looked at the MetaPath Part 2 video that I provided you, in that I showed you a clip of John Shin, who is directly connected to Rambo Boland. And he talks about the two founder theory that he has. And when he creates these companies, he has someone who's going to be the representative, the face. I would say that's Christina Chin, the CMO. And the other person is behind the scenes doing the work, the technical work. They're the hard worker. To me, based on what I can see, I can already answer this question. Christina Chin is the face and representative of most of these companies that she's associated with, and the people with the technical savvy aspect of the company, they don't do that many public appearances. I found a connection between individuals who have the software background and skill sets, not putting themselves in public facing. We saw that also when we looked at the founders of the patent. Of those founders of the patent, none of the three are publicly facing. None of the three have a lot of videos. But again, I'll collect this information and we'll look at that in a future video. So let's see what the next question is. Do you know any new details on partnership with Bybit and Swift blockchain? That is a great question. And matter of fact, I don't want to spoil that for you yet. If you watched the Swift Coin Part 1, this came up. So that's relevant to Swift Coin Part 1, the very first video. I talked about Bybit. I talked about that relationship. I also talked about South Korea and what they're doing with different companies in South Korea, creating an IPO. So that's going to come up here in a moment. So that's going to be a question. So again, at this time, tonight is a DogPile session. So if you have an inquiry, this is your time to ask. If you don't catch this live, then make sure you leave a comment, both in the regular comments and also in the live chat. If you're here, I will check this video for your comments to add to the questions. All right, so let's get back to the video number 1. And let's go through this. Let's see here what we have here. Okay, here we go. All right, so picking back up at 12 minutes and 39 seconds of the first video, after I went through the API, we dove into negative sentiment. So this is a researchable question as well. I think that research always should be balanced by both good and bad. You can't have research without looking at what can hold it back as a project and technology, as well as what things that you want to hear is a positive. So I see this as a good opportunity. What questions of negative sentiment do you have? What questions do you have about this project that are considered FUD or negative? Again, I'm using the words and terminology that people use, but I don't see negativity as a bad thing. I think we should know about the pros and cons. So if you have a question of such as that, please leave that in the chat this time. We're going to go through a few more of these and I will check back with the chat. All right. So this is where we're at there. So after the negative sentiment, we went to the positive sentiment. What about the positive sentiment? Do you have any questions about the positive sentiment of Swift? And if you don't know what positive sentiment is a marketing term. It means how people feel about a project. So if you have negative sentiment about a president, for example, that means that you don't like this president for this reason. Now, does it mean that that is true? No, it's your personal feelings. But if you have negative sentiment, it can be used in your analysis of a project to help you to determine if this technology is something you're interested in. It also helps to expose weaknesses in the technology. I found the negative sentiment, as long as it's not something simple as this is a scam, this is a ripoff. When people make a one-liner such as that, it is not effective in providing any substantial research. It doesn't tell you anything. It tells you your feelings. It doesn't give you anything researchable. So when I see comments like that, I kind of ignore them personally because I need something to research. Say you don't like the person's haircut because you think their haircut is going to make it lose market shares. Well, give me something that talks about haircuts and how it makes a company lose market shares. I can look that up. But what I can't do is look up your feelings because feelings don't have facts behind them unless you have researched it. So that's a good thing. So what do you think positively about the project? Keep going through this. Let's see. We talked about BitTorrent. We talked about global connections with Swift. We talked about the China connection with Justin Sun, HTX, and moves that may be going down in the fourth quarter up to 2025, I should say, for Swift. So that's a question I think a lot of people have had. Going through the last few, and I'm going to get back to community comments. Unveil SwiftCoin's ties to Japan. Was that something that we want to know about? I talked about Mizuso Bank, which was one of the earliest connections with Swift back in when they first started a meeting with that bank. Are there any updates to that? These are the type of questions. What is happening in Japan? That might not be a direct question to Swift, but it may give you some insights about how that blockchain technology is moving in that industry, which is speculative, but it's still something that you may be interested in learning. Secrets revealed about Swift's hidden connections. Now, this was a build-up to the billionaire blueprint that I was kind of giving you hints to, but are there these connections? Do you actually care? When I and other researchers talk about connections and partnerships, I want to give you a little nexus about that. A community member that's been rocking with me for about 3 years brought up a point earlier in January. The point that they brought up was oftentimes companies will say partnership with. And when you hear partnership, it really doesn't tell you what the pros and cons of that partnership is. It doesn't tell you how that partnership will affect the company or the project, the technology. So what I decided to do this year, different than I did in the past, is look up these partnerships and focus on the partnerships of that I believe may be impactful. Now, I show you why, and I'll show you the connections. I always bring up my research. So if you look at anything, you can screenshot anything on my research. You could take that screenshot, Google the information I put in there, and find it. That's one of the huge differences between my research and the people that I associate myself with and others that you'll find is they really not doing research. Honestly, is most of the time on YouTube, the platform itself, people focus on their feelings. And so they say marketing based, I want to say hype. That's where my slogan comes from, research over hype. They'll tell you, for example, if I want to get more subscribers, because I have a small platform, 7,000 something people. If I wanted to get more subscribers, the formula is really, really simple. It's really simple. All I would have to do is shorten my videos from the long, in-depth, detailed videos to a shorter video between probably 3 to 7 minutes. And in that 3 and 7 minutes, I don't give you anything of substantial information about the technology. The first 3 to 4 minutes, I will give you bullet points about one thing I know about the project. So if I was doing this with Swift, I would do Swift is a technology. You can find it on CoinMarketCap, and it's getting more popular every day, folks. And Swift Coin is a project that you should be looking out for. I think Swift Coin is going to do, and I'm not going to say it because I don't want nobody to edit it, 200 million X. And I think by the end of the bull market, it's going to be $100,000 per coin. And I just put a thumbnail that matches that sentiment. And I would have less problems with growing the platform because I am marketing to people's desire for financial income, and I'm marketing to their biases to wanting that project to do well. This is the ones who content creators who do that. They'll receive more financial support for their platforms. They'll receive more engagement from their community because people tend to go along with information that's what they already think. This model that I have is very simple. I provide you researchable facts. You can screenshot anything I say, and you can find what I found the articles. I take a lot of time creating the information you see. And on each and every slide that you are seeing, the presentation, you can look at the dates, who said it, when it was said, the 5 W's, the who, what, when, where, and how. And then I provide it to you. And then sometimes during the course of my research, I will give you my perspective. But typically I try to lessen that unless I see an opportunity to try to help you understand it. People engage with marketing. They don't engage with research. So I think it's important that we establish that when we're looking at this research, what type of person are you? Do you want to hear the information that you can look at to make up your own mind, or do you want to hear information that someone's telling you what to think and you don't have an opportunity to explore it? So That's what I want to bring up. So let's go back to community comments. That was my that's my little bandwagon I want to get on. Let's see what other questions we have. All right. Have you personally used MetaPath to buy NFTs? So that's a question. Now, this is a question geared toward me, but I think it should be not more toward me. This question should be a question: do individuals use MetaPath to buy NFTs? Because if you only get my perspective, that doesn't reflect whether or not the project itself is utilizing this technology. And I don't think it will really provide people a better understanding if they know my habits, what I do personally. But I think that is a good, valid question. Are people using MetaPath? All right. One concern I have with Swift is that Tim Draper might not be invested in Swift anymore. Dragon Draper used to have Swift in their public portfolio, but Swift is no longer acknowledged there. So it's possible. I think the big thing that is, first though, let's just make sure I'm clear. The questions you asked tonight are not questions I'm planning on answering tonight, but I will make a commentary toward that. We have to understand that when we are in a space of blockchain and we call ourselves retail investors, it's not truly a retail investment. And let me explain. We're using stock market thought processes and we're trying to apply it to a market that it was never intended for. We use technical analysis to look at the overbought, oversold, and we use all these different analytics to determine whether a product is good or bad or when it's going to sell. The reality is no one knows, especially because the whole market is based off of Bitcoin. Now, talking about this question here, a venture capital company that invests into any project, they're going to also have an acquisition stage where they're going to take back the profit they invested. There's also deals that are based on a daily, monthly, yearly, and these partnerships go in and out. The best that we can get with open source information that we have, since it's not a regulated market, is as relevant as the information that is posted online for public consumption. Remember, we don't have regulation in this space. So whether or not they state that they're still in business with them depends on our ability to know if they keep their records updated. We have found, and I have seen companies who have not updated their partnerships and they have a partnership. And I've seen research where people have updated their partnerships or it's stale information. It says they have a partnership and they don't have a partnership. No one in this space looking at open source information can tell us whether or not that the information at the time in which we give it is still relevant, because we're not behind the closed doors. We don't have any contracts in our hands and they're not regulated. So unlike companies in the United States, they don't even have a regulation that requires them to state who they're even doing business with. So, with this question, I will research it just because I think that's a very important question, and other people have this question too. But I can tell you this, at the end of my research, there will be no way that anyone can give you a definitive other than the company itself that literally states at the time in which they gave information is still true. Because if they tell you on Monday and then Tuesday they're not in business anymore, were they lying? They were in business, and then on Monday, and then the business deal fell through on Tuesday. So that's one of the things. It's a side effect, a negative side effect of the industry that we are invested and interested in, is the fact that there's no regulation, and that's a problem with it. Open source information is only as good as the information we put in it. All right, let's see another question. Is Swift billion-dollar conduit a back-end type of infrastructure integrated into exchange and decentralized exchanges? That's called DEXs for people who are new to the crypto spaces. If so, do you believe this is why Swift doesn't market as much like L1, L2, or meme projects do? That is a complex and compound question. And that question alone can be a whole conversation. I will definitely respond to that in an upcoming video. Thank you for asking that question. There is complexity to this, a lot of complexity. And unfortunately, I must absolutely admit right now, we have been conditioned, both people who call themselves newbies and us experienced people, to believe there's only one answer to a question. It's very binary. I don't understand why we do this, but we as a community do this. There is multiple answers. This is a financial answer, an economic answer, a legal answer, a contractual answer. There's a marketing answer. There's so many levels to this question, and it is not going to be a one answer. It's like a lawyer tell you there's going to be but and an if, a coordinating conjunction, and if, or, but. That is more than one question. So, and as you see laid out in the question, it's a multi-layered question too. So thank you for asking that question. Great question. I will definitely look that up. All right. Before I ask this question again, if you're just tuning in, this is the Underdog Researcher, Underdog Research channel. This is a DogPile session. What the DogPile session is, the DogPile session is me speaking to you as a community. During the course of this video, I'm going to go through videos I have done, research that I have conducted, and I'm going to go through that research, giving you an opportunity to ask questions, refresh your memory about things I've already researched. If you have questions about that area of research, please let me know. I'm going to look at these videos and I'm going to look at your comments. You are driving the next research video. I'm going to take your questions from the comments and I'm going to compile it all into one. And then in my next upcoming video that I do on a question and answer session, I'll be answering the questions based on research I've already conducted. And if there's areas where there's no research conducted, I will conduct additional research to see if I can find an answer to the inquiry you have. I will provide my perspectives where I see that it's necessary, and I'll try to break it down easily for everyone to digest the information the best way I can. Again, to remind you, I am not associated with this company. I have no interest for or against the project. My job that I have created for myself is simply to provide you research about a technology that I'm doing for looking at for myself so that you can use it on your own. I do take a lot of hours and time doing this. So if you would support the channel, it'd be appreciated. Click on that super thanks button at the conclusion, hit a super chat. This allows me to be able to not only be compensated for the time I put into this work, but it also allows me to get resources such as access to closed databases that cost subscription amount of money to obtain versus open source intelligence. Also tools such as cameras, lightings, and other things I need, and programs and software I need to present the information to you. So by supporting the research, it's supporting me, and it helps me to better support you. How much is the research worth to you when you're trying to take something small and grow it to something big? You need to know all the information you have. And so thank you very much. I hope you support. So let's see this next question. What are your top 5 holdings and what cryptos are you looking to pick up on these red discount days? Okay, I will answer that in the upcoming video. Again, thank you for asking that question. I will answer that in the upcoming video because I do want to make sure I capture the question. But tonight it's going to be about question gathering. I will give you this just so you leave with additional information. I told my community when I came back after about a year or so that I took a hiatus from being online. I told my community there'll be 5 areas of interest that I'll be looking at industries during this particular cycle. The first area of interest is going to be decentralized storage. I gave a list of projects which I will be talking about in decentralized storage. This is also because AI and gaming storage is something that will need to be done, and decentralization is a conversation and narrative. This narrative and decentralization and storage requirements may present an opportunity. Second was cross-border payments. I told the community that I'll be talking about those type of projects. I also talked about layer 1 and 2, or projects that do both layer 1 and 2. I also told my community I'll be looking at 1 to 2 meme coins or community-based tokens. This is something I didn't previously do besides one instance 3 years ago, Shiba Inu, that I gave my community information 32 to 72 hours before the project went up exponentially based on research that I provided. And I'll also be looking at other industries too. And some of the different things I'll be looking at, I'll also be giving to you in later. So those are the main three. And I'll talk about that in my upcoming videos. All right. So thank you very much. I appreciate the support. Thank you for engaging. Please hit the like button. And again, if you like the information you receive on this channel, the way I present it, then please hit that super thanks. Provide some support for the channel. It helps me to help you. And let's get it going. Let's see what else we have. Thanks again for your time, brother. I definitely learned a lot from you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you saying that. And thank you for your acknowledgement. And let's see, just got out of work. Hope I'm not too late. No, you're not too late at all. We're just gathering information. If you just tuned in, we're looking at my videos, any research I've conducted. If you have questions, leave a comment it takes you a second. Ask your question in the chat. I will go back, compile, and I'll look it up. All right, let's see here. Storage and AI is one reason I'm looking at cloud tech jobs for cybersecurity. I definitely guarantee that it's going to be a good area to be in. All right, folks, I'm going to get back to the video. I'm going to acknowledge you again. Sometimes I can be less interactive just because I want to get you the information. So let me know if you have any questions. And let's get back to what I was looking at here. So in the first video, this is the Swift Coin video part 1. And just in case you don't remember what it looks like, this is this video. This video is the most watched video to my knowledge on YouTube. It has the most watched hours on YouTube. It had the most comments on YouTube and the most interaction on YouTube about the project Swift Coin, even than Swift Coin project itself. So if you've not watched this project, the very first video, please take the time. It's time coded. I took a lot of time to do that. Go through it. Click on the individual time codes. If you have a particular interest, navigate through it and find out information you may have missed that can help you help yourself. All right. So let's go back to this piece. So now on the first video, we had where you stopped at Japan. If you have any questions about that, let me know. We talked about Web3 and Swift Coin connections. Now, this is important, and I haven't had a lot of people talk about this, but said except one person: South Korea, BitThumb, and Swift Coin. Now, if you watch Black Roo Investing, no one's talked about the fact Black Roo has brought up that BitThumb was bought by whom? If you don't know, check out Black Roo. They were acquired. Now, BitThumb in South Korea, I told you then, has already introduced an IPO. They're going to become like Coinbase was in the United States. Now, Coinbase exponentially grew in cost when Coinbase did the same thing and was publicly traded. And also the projects on Coinbase also went up in value. Why is that important? There's a connection directly with a partnership with SwiftCoin and BitThumb. Now, that's in South Korea. That happens next year in 2025. So the question that I think someone should ask, but I'll let you ask it, is what about that connection? What is the conversation? How's BitThumb doing with its IPO? Because if the IPO goes in place and it's successful and more people start to trade on it and it's sanctioned by the government of South Korea and SwiftCoin's on there as one of the low market cap tokens and they have a partnership, whether they're moving money to BitThumb or as a token on BitThumb, either way, that's a 2025 time frame that there may be an increase in the amount of activity. And if you looked at my videos about how much Swift gets when they have transaction fees, that is a conversation that a lot of people have overlooked. Matter of fact, I hadn't had anybody ask. So if that's a question or you're interested in that, please leave a question and I'll get to you on that one. All right, so let's go to hidden connections. We talked about that. Fidelity Investments. Now, this was a question. I brought up Fidelity Investments. We learned that there is a inventor, Xing Shen. She was one of the 3 creators for SwiftCoin's technology. She was also the creator for the ETF for Fidelity, which brought in, I believe, billions of dollars in money through an ETF. So she has several patents, but it was very interesting that she works for one of the biggest in the business. So that technology was connected through the actual creation from a creator who did this multiple times. And this is a pretty big announcement, right? So are there any more questions about that? Does it matter? Has anyone actually looked at and compared and contrast Fidelity's technology to Swift Coin's patent, looked at it side by side to see how much of that was built into it? I think that's important. And so if you have a question about that, please let me know. We're almost finished with this one. I'm going to go back to community comments. Swift Coin and Fidelity patents. We talked about that. Who has more questions about that? We went to Fidelity's Catherine Young's. That was Fidelity's China focus, stating that the end of 2024, they're looking for the country of China to increase in value from their investments as Fidelity, and that Fidelity spends a lot of money over there. So if Swift has connections direct to China, why aren't people getting more excited of the speculation that is potentially at the end of the year to next year? That's when all the money flow will come in. Now, these are in Fidelity. They have millions or more invested in people looking at China for their own products. So I'm going to believe them more than I'm going to believe in just a couple of people's feelings that it's going to go to the moon. I look at facts, and their reports are China will increase their economy into 2024, 2025. So is that a question? Last three things that I'm going to go to community comments. Now we have a question about this. Fidelity, Catherine, we did that one, sorry. Let's do Swift blockchain project. That was me finishing up, and I wrapped it up. So now let's go back to your questions. So I'm going to take this off, put this one back up. Let me put my face here. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about the very first video of Swift Coin. Please leave your questions in the comments in the live. Leave your questions in the comments in the regular video. Now, I want to stop and say thank you very much. E just sent a $10 super sticker. He is directly supporting the Underdog Researcher. Thank you very much. And I appreciate it very much. Your contributions such as this will go toward fees that I pay to obtain subscriptions into content that I would not be able to obtain using open source intelligence. So if y'all want even better quality, I think I give you pretty good quality, but if you want even better quality, I need to pay for subscriptions that cost $1,500 a year to get in certain things about tax filings and things that I can't see. And I'm saying tax filing, but business filings, things that I need access to through multiple databases and sources. Right now, all this research that you've seen has been based off of open source intelligence, but I want to give you more. So in order to do that, I need your support. So thank you very much, E. I want to thank you for taking the time to provide that. Appreciate that very much. Let's go to your questions. Again, let's go up a little bit and see if I hadn't forgot anything. And thank you for tuning in. I think I might have, here we go. It's with, okay, we already went through that one. We went through that one. Thank you for that as well. You're not too late. Went to that. Went to storage. I feel like I'm missing something. And we went to E. Am I missing something? I feel like I'm missing something. Well, E's, I'm not missing E's. Thank you very much again, E. I really greatly appreciate that. That means the world to me that you take the time to support the research that I provide here. I'm looking at the live chat. Are there any more questions on this video before I close this one out? All right. There are none. So let's move on. The next video was the patent and trademarks. So folks, I did a video that I can honestly look you in the eyes and tell you that no one else has done ever at all for you. There was no one, this project has existed since 2017. Find another video of research about the patent and trademarks. I went to the United States Patent and Trademark Office because The narrative when I first looked at this project was Swift had a patent. Swift had a trademark. Now, I like to know facts, not fiction. I didn't know if it was facts or fiction or not. So I said for myself, I'm going to research if this is still true. And boy, I'm glad I did. As I researched this project, I found that they applied for 4 items. First item they applied for was 3 different versions of a trademark. Let's make sure we separate them. The first trademark was the Swift blockchain trademark, as you see there. The Swift blockchain trademark is that blue, you see that blue picture on the screen with the white bird, the blue wing, and it says Swift blockchain. The second one was the coin that you see right there on the screen, and it says Smart Worldwide Financial Tech with the little wings that's golden. That's number 2. And the third is not even here, but I want you to imagine, cut off the OIN of Swift coin that's on there and look at SWFTC. That's called a word mark. In 2017, or around about that time approximately, they applied for these 3 separate trademarks and word marks with the United States Postal Office. No, sorry, that's not right. United States Patent and Trade Office. Somebody's going to think I'm a little loony. The fourth thing they applied for is the patent. We often say these things together, but they're separate. The patent is over the technology of the cross-border swaps or cross-chain swaps. During the course of my research, I discovered that all 3 of the trademarks that I just explained to you were abandoned. And I determined why they were still abandoned. And I gave you the reasons, and then I showed you the documents, and I showed you the conversation between Swift, the company, and the USPTO. And I was able to verify that they were abandoned and the reasons why. Check out that video if you hadn't seen it. Then I look at the patent. And I looked at the patent and I determined that that one was also no longer protected under this particular USPTO. So I went back and I told you this information. And why? I was told by individuals at the time I did this, comments that people didn't think that would be good. That'd be FUD. But I thought to myself, like I always do, how can it be FUD if it's true? If it's true, you should know the truth. FUD is based on personal opinion, possibly that might be negative. But if it's true, I think you should know. Now, we talked about the advantages and disadvantages of why they did this because of the amount of money they were receiving. But it gave you as the person interested, and if you have more than $10 invested in this particular technology, I think you should know whether or not that technology has these particular protections. So those of you who saw that made a decision based on now a full picture. So that was that whole video. If you have questions about that wasn't answered in that video at this time, I would like you to go ahead and put it in the chat. I'm about to go to the chat right now and to see what you're saying about those questions and see what other things you're saying. So at this time, please leave a comment about this video, and I'm going to look this up and get it back to you based on research. So let's see where we left off with the community. And thank you for your time tonight. Here we go. Oh, I see I'm so into this thing. Thank you so much. I got a super chat. Your perspective, how do you think Swift will bring MetaPath and Path Finance together, and how will it translate to Swift blockchain? Great question. We hadn't got to that video yet, but it's a great question. And I do recognize that this particular individual has already been in comments asking these very great pointed questions. And also, thank you. I'm going to highlight you because you highlighted me. Thank you for taking the opportunity to support the research. Every dollar that you provide to this research that I do will assist me in providing better quality. As I stated, and I'll tell you again in the future, I just now, after 3 years, monetized this channel. I could have done this a long time ago, but I monetized this channel so that I could start to do things that others aren't doing. I see a huge gap in this space where we've conditioned ourselves to only look at content creators who tell you hype. And that's fine if that's what you want to hear. It feels good, but telling you hype isn't going to help you if you have a real investment. These stock companies have people that they pay who don't hype. They give people information about whether a stock asset is good, bad, what should be moved. I can't do that because I'm not a financial advisor. But what I can do is educate you on information I find in research, put in my time and work, offer it to you as the product, and you look at it and determine what you want to do. So I appreciate you doing that. I'm going to use this as a way to help me to better improve the content and that I provide you and my research tools I use. So thank you very much. All right, let's see what else we have here. Oh, wow. Thank you very much. Again, thank you very much I have another super chat here. Thank you very much for supporting me. I really greatly appreciate it. This means a lot to me. And community, just so you know, I do want you to know I have a Telegram. It's in all my channels, the videos. Join the Telegram. This is an off-ramp for you can go to speak to other people who are interested in this project. I also have a metaverse space, over 7 metaverse spaces. I teach you and I have how to get into them, and I'll give you exclusive content. So I really greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I appreciate it. And if I don't say your names right, I apologize. I'm an old country boy. Black Rue Investing. So I got to acknowledge Black Rue Investing. I got to acknowledge Black Rue Investing. Thank you, Black Rue Investing. Quick story, and I'll get back to the research. I promise you, I will get back to the questions. But Black Rue Investing, 3 years ago, I did not have a channel. I've been a researcher for over 20 years, and with my background, I was just like many of you. I was interested in learning about this new thing called crypto and technology, and I had not invested in this market yet. I was in the stock market, and I was online, and I was fortunate enough to find someone talking about a particular project, and that person was Black Rue Investing, now called the Ruel Black, the Crypto Rue podcast. And let me tell you what I found. I found that when he spoke, he was at that time talking about crypto and as well stocks. He was on a show called the Benzinga, and he had his own platform. And I was so impressed by his ability to talk about these complex issues and concepts while showing me technical analysis and break it down in a way that I could understand. I immediately subscribed, watched him every week, and I still watch him today. And now I'm fortunate enough, I reached out to him when I got a little bit more people behind my community, and I reached out to him, and I get the opportunity every day to speak to him as much as possible. So if you're not subscribed, I'm going to go to his channel right now. You see his name there. If you don't know who Black Rue Investing, Ruel Black, the Crypto Rue podcast, then you have to find out. So while I go to YouTube, let me go to YouTube because I have to show you. I'm going to spotlight him. I have to. There's no way I can sit here in my right mind and not do so. Let me go to his page, and I'm going to highlight him right now so that you can know who he is as well. And hopefully you can have the same benefit that I had. And thank you very much, Black Rue, for the super chat. I greatly appreciate it. It's honored to share the same presence as you. So thank you very much. Let me stop the screen on this one, and let me share this new one here. So I'm going to take the time to always highlight individuals that I think are important to this industry we're in. This is Black Rue Investing, everyone. If you don't know Black Rue Investing, let me go over a little bit about his channel and give him that time that he has dedicated to this space. So Black Rue Investing, you can find him here at Black Rue. Currently, he has I Love Stock and Crypto. He's the host of the Ruel Report, Wednesday, 6 p.m. PST. That may still be active. Now, if you look here, He has regular recorded videos. You can find it all. I challenge anyone. It's like watching Law and Order to see if you can find all this information and go through it. He has talked about it all from the oldest videos. You can find Black Rule Investing, talk about stocks, and a lot of his information is evergreen, is still current. He has shorts as well. Black Rule Investing has short videos. He has live streams on a daily basis or almost weekly basis for sure. Now, some of the topics he talks about, if you watch Black Rule Investing, you got to understand the significance of it. And I'm going to put myself a little bit on here so you can see my face when I say this. If you truly are someone who call yourself a retail investor, and I'm saying that just because that's the terminology we use, then why would you not look at information about the product in which you invested in? Now, we can't give you financial advice, but you're the one in the market. So if you're in the market, you should know about his content. For example, he talks about Tim Draper. Tim Draper is an American billionaire. I didn't know the importance of Tim Draper until I watched his platform. It was because of that, it led me to research I'm able to provide you directly because of his discussions. And he talks about more than that. He talks about the world economic events. He'll go through patents, Fortune 500 companies. It is great information. So that is Black Rule Investing. I highly encourage everyone who is here today to go to his channel. Let's do this. There's a few people here. If you're not already subscribed, I'm going to wait 10 seconds. I'm not going to go further. I'm going to give you a time to get your questions up. Let's go to his channel right now. Go and simply press that subscribe button and then go to notifications, bring it to all. And if you've done that, go ahead and leave a comment. And Underdog Research channel says, I'm down with Black Rule. If you're rocking with Black Rule, you're rocking with me, and I'm happy to be here to help you. He can help you too. So thank you for doing that. All right. So now that we've talked about one of the greatest of all times, Black Rule Investing, let me go ahead and bring back up this and go to community comments. And thank you again for Black Rule for your support of the channel. I greatly appreciate you. All right. We have the thank you back. Appreciate you, Black Rule. All right. I also have some other start comments. I want to make sure I didn't miss anyone. I think I have mentioned everyone. Thank you for supporting the Underdog Research channel. If you have any more questions about this portion of the research of the trademark, please leave a comment at this time. I will time code these videos. You can also let me know by pressing the super thanks. It will give you an opportunity not only to support the channel, but it give you an opportunity to leave a time code. You can time code these videos so that us as researchers know the parts that you're interested in. So if you want to know more about it, engage in it. Look, we spend money on junk food. We spend money on everything, but we don't want to spend money on our own assets that we have purchased that we want to go up. It's crazy to me. So show me in the research what you're interested in, and I'll be happy to help you there. Now, I think that's all the comments on this one. I'm going to move on to the next one. And I see we're nearing the hour mark. I'm going to stop at part one, and I'll do another DogPile session. So to give you an opportunity to go through that. So on this one was part one. Now, part one of the Billionaire Blueprint was a first time release of a connection that was further than the Swift coin part one. See, I went further than telling you about the project itself. And even though I gave you all this information and then I went through the patent of the project, this was different. This was about the connections and the potential impact. Some people may say this is the speculation aspect of it. I gave you researchable facts, but the reason for knowing this is to understand, one, this is not a meme coin. The market was such that when I and even Black Rule Investing start to research this project early in January, people thought that Swift coin was a meme coin. Now, we can't tell you, Black Rule can't tell you, nor can I tell you that this project is going to go to the moon tomorrow, nor can we tell you if they don't shut their doors and close business the next day. Nobody can tell you that. because this is a company, GooCoin, and they have investors, and we can't get in the mind of those individuals. We can only do research. But what we did here, and what I did in this video, was show you that there's millions of dollars invested in the company. And these billionaires don't just throw money into the wind and hope that it does something. Even if one of these billionaires are no longer there, at one time they were in this project. And it's likely all of these billionaires are going to come back to acquire their money from the project. So the success of the company benefits them. No one invests money into something they want to lose money. You invest money into something you want to gain. Tim Draper said that in a lot of his videos that Black Russo stated. People don't understand how investments work. You invest money as a retail investor. We know that we invest when it's low. We say it, buy low, sell high. But we don't believe it, because if we believed it, our actions would be that way. We still chase green candles. Now, I don't, but a lot of people still chase green candles despite the reality of the knowledge of something so simple. Buy low, sell high. But here's the thing. With that simplicity, apply it to billionaires. Look at the crypto market as a micro ecosystem, and look at billionaires looking at the worldwide financial system and economy as their trading platform. And they buy low when the economy is low, and they sell high when the economy is going up. That's how they make billions. We only see specks of crumbs. So when we see Bitcoin high and then we say manipulation, it's really an oversimplification of the investment strategy of the wealthiest people in the world. They do not care about you. I know it's hard to hear that. They do not care about you, though. All they care about is their investment. So whether or not you make $1 doesn't matter to them. They're going to sell their Bitcoin at 70,000 because they want to. That's it. They don't have to have a reason to please you or me, because they want to. They want to make a profit, and they could care less that you're trying to make a nickel when they're trying to make billions of dollars. Keep that in mind. It'll help you to understand why it's important to look at research over hype, because with research, you at least have a platform of something to use to help you to better understand the bigger connection, the bigger conversation, instead of only thinking of wind, moon, or it's a scam. If you stay in that binary set, you're trying to gamble to get lucky. We don't want to gamble. We want to make educated decisions. So that's why I want you to know. One thing to note before we go back to the community chat, notice that 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth person is Braven Howard. Look him up. I gave you that information in this one. He was one of the only billionaires to make more billions during the 2008 recession in the United States by able to see trends and anticipate market movements. He got into this project through his investment through Shima Capital. Now, the question I think you should ask, but I'm not going to ask it because I want you to ask it. I want you to think outside the box. This is why we're here tonight. What advantage do you think he thought about to invest in a company who invested in these companies such as MetaPath years before you even knew about MetaPath in 2021? Do you think maybe he invested during the market being down for a reason? We know that MetaPath received millions of dollars in investment from 1 or 2 companies. I'll tell you about that in the upcoming videos. But you know about one, at least, Shima Capital. So my question to you, in 2022, when crypto was down, why then would they invest? Think about it. If you can look at that as researchable, which I look at, that will help you a lot. Why would they invest? And the market is down. Crypto crashed. Why? And why is Braven Howard one of the only billionaires on that panel who flipped those billions into more billions during a recession, putting his money into MetaPath? And SWFT owns MetaPath technology. And MetaPath is in the NFT and swap space. Why? If you don't stay up at night like I have stayed up at night to try to figure that out, then what you're doing is looking at that coin market cap, and you can do that if you want to, and you're doing like this, and you're saying to yourself, I wonder if dang, Swift coin's down 5% today. Just imagine what you would sound like if you was in front of those billionaires. Can you imagine that? That's what I don't do. Think about that. I want you to think about that. If you was in front of those billionaires, if you had an opportunity to go into their meeting with those people I showed you. Let me put them back up here so you can see them. If you had an opportunity to be in the room with them, how much would you pay to be mentored by these gentlemen for 1 year? Would you pay 1,000? Would you pay 2,000? Would you pay 25,000? What would you invest in your time, efforts, and money to be in the room with those billionaires? If you're being honest, you would invest more than you invest the time into looking at a research video that take you an hour to look through. That's time coded. If you're not willing to invest 30 minutes, an hour of your life into your own money, but a billionaire is willing to invest their time and their money into the same project that you are in, something's wrong, don't you think? So that's why I think it's important to understand these connections. And I'm glad that hope that you don't mind my little tangent right there. I just want to talk about that. So let's go back to your question, folks. Let's see what we have. Down with Black Roo, watch them before live. All right, that's great. Here we go. The billionaire is the video that blew my mind and first video I watched, and I will be forever thankful for it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm glad you like that level of research. Thank you. We have here. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thank you, Black Roo. Acknowledging. Thank you very much. All right, I'm gonna keep it moving. Keep it moving. We're almost through this, folks. Billionaire Blueprint Part 2. So the first Billionaire Blueprint Part 1 is significantly different. In Part 1, I walked through John Shin. And John Shin, if you don't know that name, he is a big deal. He will come up in my future research. He has come up on my current research. I keep bringing him back up. He's in California. He's directly associated with this project. And he was one of the founders of SWFT. And he is big. And you have to go through it. There's a connection to foreign investments, the EB-5 program, which is the immigration program. There's a lot of information in Part 1. So watch Part 1. If you have any questions, come back to the DogPile video. Leave your question. I'm going to time code this, and that way you can get your questions answered in later video. Part 2 was me exposing you to the rest of these millionaires and billionaires. I gave you MetaPath. You didn't know that MetaPath existed. And I say that proudly and boldly because you didn't know. It's not a spite at you. It's because the company itself did a horrible job, in my personal opinion, advertising and promoting, or they did it on purpose. For me, it seems like it's purposeful. But they opened MetaPath and I put it out there. And now you know that MetaPath exists. That should change your thoughts because of the direct connection. Here's the thing. Why does it matter? Okay, let's talk about this. For me, the best way to describe it, and again, I won't answer all your questions today, but I just want to give you a frame of mind so you can give me some questions. If I am Boeing, I own the motor, Boeing. Now, it's not about whether you like Boeing. Their motors have been to rocket ships that went to outer space, and they have been in planes, and you've flown on them. Their motors are in everything, it seems. Very big company. Now, the shell of the plane, let's say it's made by a fiberglass company, and we'll call it Fiberglass One. Now, Boeing, the engine maker, is not the fiberglass company, but you find out through research, they own the fiberglass company by everything the fiberglass company creates. If that fiberglass company creates a door, a wall, anything, they own the intellectual rights to that. That means they own the profits to that. So you should look at Boeing as the anchor of the investment, and the other aspects, such as the fiberglass outing of the shell of the airplane, as the subsidiary of that investment. And Boeing is smart because they just took their investment and took it from one product, the motor, and made it into 2, 3, 4, 5 derivatives. Now, let me ask you a question if you don't know the significance of MetaPath yet. Using that as an example, wouldn't you think it's better to be invested in one project that has several subsidiaries, and those individual subsidiaries also have the potential of making financial gains through transactions and the industry they're in, which will multiply your investment as these subsidiaries gain revenue as well as Boeing's motor? Or would it be only better to invest only in Boeing? The answer is clear. It's compound interest, in my perspective. Anything that can multiply your potential of growth in your investment is not speculative. It is research that shows you the potential of growth. What's speculative is how much growth did it have. I cannot tell you that. I can't tell you that. No one can tell you exactly how much growth it have. But my thinking, if you're asking my personal thoughts, are if it has $10 more of growth, that's $10 more in your pocket. And if it has $100 more in your pocket, that's growth. To give you financial advice would tell you to go and buy this and go and do this. And I can't do that. And I will not do that because I am not trained to do that. I'm a researcher, not a financial advisor. But you can, as intelligent human beings, use the seat of your pants wisdom that we have and we use every day to put 2 and 2 together, that it's better to have your interest invested in a product that has several subsidiaries that can potentially gain money than to invest in only one product. Because if you only seen it in the solo product, you're missing the connection to these other partnerships that they own. All right, so let's go to the chat. Keep dropping the knowledge, brother. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Now, if you're just tuning in with me, again, this is the Underdog Research channel, and I am going to do right now for you the DogPile series. What is the DogPile series? The DogPile series is not about me answering questions tonight. This is all about you. This is about you taking the time to look at the research I've already conducted, leave a question about that research. That way you have an opportunity to learn something that you didn't know. So with that being said, what questions you have, leave a comment right now. That's the first way you'll tell me. I'll compile that information. Go to live and leave a question in live. I'll go back to live and I'll take your question down. I'm going to put it on the screen so I can see it and I can remember it. This is how I can research for a later video where I'll go over your questions. So if you say, Underdog Researcher, you never talk about the things that I want to talk about, then that's because you didn't tell me what you're interested in. I can't read minds. I only can do research. So let me know. A second way to support the Underdog Research channel, if you like this level of research or you want to continue to support me so that I can help support you, then simply click that super thanks. It will give a time code, leave your comment, and also support the channel at the same time. I have just made my channel ability to take monetization. I'll be using this monetization to help to get databases, help to get resources such as subscriptions to paid services that I can do even more research. And everything costs money. And the time is money, and the doing this it takes a lot of time. if you want this type of research. Now, if you want somebody to just tell you coin market cap and read the white paper with you, you can get that anywhere. But if you want someone to give you this level of research, stick with me and the people that I hang with, and you will be able to get this type of research. All right, let's go to the next question. Thank you everyone for supporting. Let me go back up to these individuals. I want to thank the super sticker from E. I appreciate your support. Thank you very much from Hedgerodo 85 for your support of the channel. I also want to thank Vazgin, I'm going to say it wrong, Meridian, but thank you for the super sticker to support the channel, and your one and only Ruel Black, the Crypto Ru podcast, for your support of the channel. Thank you very much. Let's go to the next aspect, this next one. So on this particular one, what we have here was the first DogPile session. In my live streams, I have an Underdog Metaverse community, research, connect, and collaborate community questions. I answered questions about my research up until the point of SwiftCoin and after the Billionaire Blueprint. Now, since that time, I've had different research I've conducted. Go back to this video. If you was a part of that conversation, look at some of the things that I had discussed, and you have further questions, please leave those comments right now in the chat. And if you watch this afterwards, leave the comments later. I will compile those questions. What questions do you have, community, about the project? All right, keeping it moving. No questions in the chat. We're getting toward the end. SwiftCoin 3, the MetaPath series, part 1. This is my most recent video series. I thought to myself, we're here for SwiftCoin, but we have no idea what MetaPath does. We've been saying the words MetaPath ever since I disclosed this to you in the Billionaire Blueprint. But what is it? Now you have a roadmap. This is a time-coded video. In part 1, I walked through the technicals of this project. By the time you got to the end of this project, not only did I walk through the technicals of MetaPath, I showed you the connections to MetaPath and also ways that this project has potential to exponentially grow through its connections, and it's happening now. Now, there are questions you have about this. Please, at this time, let's go out to this video. Let me find this video and let's talk about what sections of this video that you might have questions in. So I'm going to go to this MetaPath video at this time. If you want to as well, follow along. Open another session and open it up now. And if you're, while you're doing this, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel by pressing that subscribe button. And you can get this type of content. Also, press notifications for all. All right, so I'm sharing. We're almost there. Let me see where it's at. Here we go. All right, let's see if I have it here. All right, so you see my face here, and I want to make sure we got it all here for you to see. All right, I need to move some things around. All right, so let's go to the time-coded video. Folks, you know how much time it takes to time code a video like this? So please use this information. I hope you know this took over 6 weeks of work to bring you this information. So I hope that you use it. So here we go. In this particular one, we started with MetaPath's subject of the research. Let me take my face off this video so you can get the information you need. Now, we went over the overview of MetaPath. If you have a question about the overview of MetaPath, please leave a comment at this time. We went off the goal of MetaPath. This is all based on the white paper. The features of MetaPath, MetaPath the system. I went over and gave you a roadmap to MetaPath. I went and did a recap of the negative sentiment that someone stated about Swift and what I found in correlation with MetaPath and how that matters and why that particular sentiment was possibly incorrect based on what I was seeing. I went over to MetaPath team. I also went to MetaPath phone application. We went through that phone application. I showed you it was created by Swift. We went over MetaPath zero gas swap. Do you have a question about that? What does that mean? MetaPath business model. We went over that. The transaction fees they collect. That's something that you need to know. Both the swap and the transaction fees is the business end of this product. We also talked about MetaPath technology ownership, who owns it. I brought up John Shin. I talked about his ideology about structuring businesses and foreign first generation immigrants. He talked about a two co-founder strategy, one person being the face, the other person being behind the scenes doing the technicals. We talked about who the CEO was. I gave you who that was. If you have a question about that, leave a comment about it. Oh, and then we started to talk about things that no one had talked to you about. Bored Ape Yacht Club. Using this as a research tool, I was able to uncover a lot of information. We was able to uncover through the research the connection between Swift, MetaPath, and the Bored Ape Yacht Club connections. We was able to uncover who the founder of MetaPath was through the connection through the Bored Ape Yacht Club. We was able to find out that Christina Chen was in a room with the founder of Bored Ape Yacht Club. We was able to discover through this connection a connection that you didn't know. This is one of the things that I want to look at you in the face and say right now so that you can remember this piece. Why hasn't anyone looked into or gotten excited about the fact that there's a third project called Path Protocol? How is it that I told you about a whole new project called Path Protocol? Y'all was excited about MetaPath. You was excited about Swift. I've yet to see but maybe one or two comments since this big release, this news that you did not know. There's a third company. If you don't look at that tonight or tomorrow and find out what I said about Path Protocol, I don't know what to tell you. This is what I'm going to do, though. I'm going to be releasing a series of videos to the members who join the community, who want to know more about this area of MetaPath and Swift. And it's going to be a whole series and a money trail series. See, I don't think everyone needs this, but I think everyone should want to know this. And the reason I say that is this. See, for Path Protocol, that is a whole other conversation. It's a whole new researchable event. I'm going to go to my colleagues and people that I talk to, such as Black Rule Investing. I'm going to ask him if he want to look into Path Protocol too. And hopefully he accepts that. Because if he looks at that too, that's even more information. But Path Protocol is a whole new ecosystem. And it's already looking like it is focused in China. Here's a secret that I haven't told you yet. I think, in my personal opinion, I'm going to get close to you because I'm not going to say it again until later on, that Path Protocol is the Chinese version of MetaPath and Swift. See, I think that it's a mirror company, if you will, a shadow company. Not nefarious. I think that Swift is KuCoin founded in the United States, with Rambalan having ties in China. With his immigration, he came to the United States. He took over the company KuCoin, which John Shin created, who's from China as well. And he's in Silicon Valley. I know that in 2021, MetaPath and its Path Protocol were created. And I know who invested in it. So I think that while we're focused on Swift doing well, we probably need to pay attention to Path doing well, being accepted and integrated as the shadow company, if you will, in China. Because that gives access. Because all of Swift owns the intellectual property of MetaPath. And if MetaPath has another company called Path, which is based in China or focused in China, then the revenue that China can receive through Path will be directed to SWIFT through MetaPath. Therefore, that's a speculative thought. But with that, you can imagine that the regulations will be in China and the regulations in the United States are separate. Therefore, you are using the intermediary of MetaPath and Swift owning the technology in the United States to increase your revenue. But you only go and get that if you want to become a member of the Underdog Research channel, because I want to give those people who want to think outside the box this information that you're receiving here, because it takes me time to look up these things, to discover this information, and that's the conversation. So I'm going to turn back to you, the community. Let's see any new questions you have. We have Phantom B. Thank you for being here. This baby is half a penny talking about Swift. What is your thinking on the new roadmap and how you think Swift coin will be affected or used? That's a great question. I'm going to add that to the box, and that is asking me about my personal thoughts, but I'm also going to do research on what others may think about that as well. So we will look that up. Oh, thank you very much. I got see. All right, now y'all getting me motivated. Y'all motivate me. Just got a super chat from Hedgerado 85 again. And thank you very much for supporting the channel. It's greatly appreciated. These contributions such as this, how is it going to support this channel? Just so you're aware, I just started to do this for this platform. I am using open source research and intelligence based on my experience and background to find this information for you. And I go further than everyone else. What I am planning to do for this platform is to also look at subscription-based and closed source information. This means I have to pay companies to get access to certain databases, certain subscriptions. One of them, for example, is $1,500 a year. Right now, my channel has never been monetized like that. So I've been receiving zero. So instead of individuals going out and supporting individuals who would simply just tell them nothing and give them hype, yet they support them, your contributions will help me to secure these different resources so I can continue to grow this platform in a way that gives people the best possible research. And as you know, I'm connected to the best possible people, Black Rue Investing, Maximus, Indigo Saint, the Third Eye. These are people I rock with. And that's the type of information I give you. So thank you very much for this super chat. I want to highlight you as you've taken care of me. Thank you. All right. All right. So let's go back to MetaPath. So this was for the MetaPath part 1. Now let's go to, oh, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Let's continue with this. Let's finish out. So Path Protocol, what questions you have about Path Protocol? I know it's new, but you should be asking questions about Path, folks. And I haven't conducted all the research. I've done preliminary research on this. I've given you more than anyone has about Path already because no one knew about Path. And I gave you the overview of the technicals of Path, but I haven't dug deep into Path. You may want to know that. My plans is to also provide that information to the community who is interested. But I'll have a series of videos called the Money Trail for the memberships that I'll be launching this week. For those who just say, hey, you know, Underdog Researcher, you've done a complete series on both Swift and MetaPath. It's complete. So this is advanced research. So if you want the advanced research on these projects, join the memberships, get that advanced research. If you don't, then I'll be starting with these new projects such as Path and other projects that I've talked about, and I'll be releasing those to the community so you can see those. So let's go to the next thing, the new ecosystems. Path Protocol is a new ecosystem. These projects have been unexplored, the connections, so that needs to be looked into. Who has questions about that? Notice this is the ecosystems and the new ecological partners. Partnerships and the ecological partners and ecosystems, two different things. Who has questions about that? Then I did something no one else did. I gave you the roadmap, but I gave you the new Swift MetaPath Path Protocol roadmap, and no one said thank you. No, I'm just joking. A couple of y'all recognized it. Swift roadmap stopped in 2021. MetaPath roadmap stopped in 2022. When I discovered that Path had a roadmap, and it stopped, and it's still in 2024 valid up until next year. And Path is MetaPath, and Swift owns the technology of MetaPath. Now, just by default, you realize that this is the new roadmap for Swift, MetaPath, and Path. So that roadmap needs to be thoroughly explored. What questions y'all have about that? And then I talked about this. Listen, I'm going to get close to this microphone. Here we go again. Folks, I hope you see this. Someone's gonna miss this question answer session. Excuse me, not a question answer. This DogPile session because you don't think it's valuable. But let me tell you this: quarter 3, quarter 4. If you're going to hear it here first, speculation. So I'm going to preface it with this because I don't hype. Speculation. Let me say it again for someone who's recording me. Speculation. Path is MetaPath, and Swift owns MetaPath technology, correct? I showed it to you. It was in their writing. I didn't make this up. I showed it to you. You can find it. You can Google it now. And Path is MetaPath. And their token, PBT, and the Path token is launching in when? 2024. July to September. If you don't see why that is relevant to you with Swift, then you might want to ask that question. Secondly, EB5 Investments, John Shin, quarter 3 and 4, they're going to do foreign investment conversations in China. Path is 2. It's just a coincidence, right? Maybe you would think about the first video with Catherine Yang of Fidelity, talked about quarter 4 to 2025. Just a coincidence, right? Maybe you'll think about the BitThumb IPO in South Korea happening in the beginning of 2025. Just a coincidence, right? Maybe you'll think about the fact that John Shin is doing the Irvine accelerator, the Long Beach accelerator. He did that already. And when he did the Irvine accelerator, the day he had his 5K run, SwiftCoin saw on March the 5th, how much? The largest increase in revenue in the history of the project on the same day he did his 5K run. Coincidence, right? There are so many speculative, bullish indicators for the end of the year and going into 2025. Me personally, I can't ignore that. Sure, with the same speculation, Bitcoin crashes, the company closes its doors. We can't control that either. But it's kind of hard to think why these billionaires will invest millions of dollars while the market was down to close the doors when the market goes up. That makes no financial sense to me at all. I can't see it. If someone sees a reason why, let me know. I don't see it. So I think that's an interesting. So you need to think about that piece, and having questions, let me know. And so that was it of this MetaPath video. I also gave you resources, folks. If you didn't see it here, people, I recommend that you go watch Black Roo, The Third Eye, Maximus Crypto, and then you have here Indigo Saint, Shook Focus Digital. All these individuals you can find that I talked to, that I have seen research from, that talk about this project. All right, we're getting toward the end. I'm going to put this up. I never gave a penny to any of this influencers for YouTubers. They just pump their bags. I love what you're doing. Thank you. See, I got a spotlight this. I'm trying to get through this information because I want to make sure I engage with you all. But this is the motivation I get from individuals who get it. I really appreciate this type of comment and this type of respect and mutual respect, and saying that because, you know, I do have a whole life outside of this, and I am using my knowledge, skills, and abilities to provide you research. I'm not providing you anything that you cannot find I put it out there. You can read it for yourself. And look, I'm not perfect. There could be mistakes. I'm human. We make errors. But what I try to do is I put it information out there. I show you where you can find it and I'll provide it to you. And so you have the opportunity to learn from it and make your own decisions. And when you have people like this who say, I never gave a penny to any of this influencers or YouTubers, they just pump their bags. I love what you are doing. Affirmations is a very small thing that we can do, and it really motivates people like myself and people I hang with, such as Black Roo, to do what we're doing because we know that the impact is greater and the time that we spend is important. So thank you so much for your words, and I appreciate that. Let's go to one last one. I think that will be, yeah, one last one. So that was MetaPath Part 1. Now, just recently, you saw in MetaPath Part 2. Now, let me go ahead and stop and give this quick thing. If you're just tuning in, this is Underdog Research channel. I also have a metaverse community. You can go to the Telegram and any of my other videos. You can join the Telegram. You can subscribe. You can press all those things you want to. But what am I doing here today? This is a DogPile session. What that means is I am getting information from you, questions that you have about research I've already conducted, things that you may want clarification, more information on. And I do this without any biases that I know of, just to provide you information that I hope that is helpful for you to make your mind up about whether you're interested in this technology. My slogan is research over hype. You'll see very little hype from me. That's just the nature of who I am, but I will provide you research. That doesn't mean I don't get excited about things. I do get excited too, but I try to reduce the amount of hype, if you will, in my excitement, not because I don't want to be excited. I just don't want anyone to believe that just because I mention a project and do research, that it's my belief it's going to go to the moon. I'll say it here and I'll say it again. No technology I conduct research on is a sure thing. Everything could end tomorrow because we can't get into the mind of the person who owns it or control the market. So I hope that you find this valuable. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat, the live chats, or leave a comment. You can also press the super thanks and it'll time code it that supports the channel, but it also will tell me what parts you're interested in. Let's go to your questions here. We have Maximus. Oh, thank you, Maximus Crypto. Oh, we got to spotlight Maximus. A little late, but we'll rewatch the start. This frame foot has been kicking my butt. Anyway, hello everyone. Smash that like button, Underdog. If you don't know who Maximus is, I'm almost done, folks, but I can't. Maximus has brought me to his show twice. Maximus Crypto. I just got an opportunity to meet him recently through Black Roo Investing. Started watching his research a few months ago. Absolutely phenomenal. I want to take the opportunity to introduce him to you as well. So let me do that for you, just because I think it's important to give you resources, and he is a great resource to have. So let's do this right now, as he has done this for me, and I want to make sure I do it right back. Important to do this. So let's do this, folks. If you're tuning in right now, just take a moment to look at what I'm about to show you. So I'm going to show you Maximus Crypto's site so that you won't be confused with any imitators of Maximus Crypto. So let's go ahead and put this over here so you can see it, and that make sure it's good. So this is Maximus Crypto. Let me take this off so you can read it. Let's talk about who Maximus Crypto is. Maximus Crypto has a channel. He tries to cover certain cryptos that he feels, though, that needs to be covered. Now, he does this. If you want to look at him, let me make sure I'll make this a little bit smaller so you can see what he talks about. He has recorded videos. Let me tell you, he looks at all this. Here you see him with Black Roo Investing and Maximus Crypto. He's going over XLM, Stellar, and something that, look, it's complex, but you got to understand this RLN. Even I am trying to understand it better. And the RSN, talking about the world financial system and how it connects. He talks about quant. He talks about the SWIFT system, financial system. If you go through his content, you'll see he talks about Jasmine. He does stuff about Tim Draper connections with Black Roo. more and more. Sony, the topics that he talks about is wide and varied and distinct. Let's talk about how long he does content. You can find on his content, and let's go to some of his live shows too. On his lives that he does as well. Let me go to this as well. Maximus Crypto, because I think it went off of it. There we go. Okay, on his lives, you can see that he does those as well. Let me click on it so you can see it. Here we go. His live shows. He does live shows. This live show was 4 hours and 33 minutes. This live show was 5 hours and 21 minutes. He allowed me to come on both of these live shows. He has 2 hours and 43 minutes. When I talk about length, he is a marathon runner and he gives you more. These live shows are so in depth. So if you want to get this level of research, look at Maximus Crypto. He also does shorts. If you want real quick, short to the point, he has shorts that he provides. His community comments. He talks in community comments. You can find him on X. He is very, very active. He is someone that I have went to and I enjoyed his content. I think you would enjoy his content too. So please make sure you take the time to check out Maximus Crypto. He is somebody that I will continue to tell you to go to for those resources. And you'll see his links in the description below. So thank you, Maximus, for being here. And I'm going to go to community comments. Let's see what we got here. All right. We got, I don't expect you to do that, but thank you, kind sir. You're more than appreciated. Thank you for doing that for me. And I really wanted to do that for you. I want people to see who you are. And we have this one here. When I bought Swift, it was at 0.00333. And it ran up all the way to 90% of a penny. Wow. There is another project you have mentioned before that is now at 0.007777. Go ahead and say that project you want to, and that might be a question you have. That's a good example. Look, folks, when I looked at this project, I got in this project, it was 0.0002. Since that time, it went up to 90% of a penny. All the people in my community who got that opportunity, they went from a 0.0002 to a 0.0009. Some sold at the top, some sold in the middle, some sold at the bottom. That's your personal choice, but all of them have been up and had an opportunity to be up. We can't give you trading advice, but I can give you research. We were talking about this in January. I researched this starting in December of 2023, and now we're looking at July. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much to this project. So that's a good example. Thank you for sharing that with us. We got no science to my prior comment, but these numbers always draw my attention. I definitely agree. We have just followed. Got you followed Maximus. Thank you for following Maximus. Thanks, Gerardo, and hi G and Rue and everyone else. What's up, Max? Yes, Max certainly runs up to Crypto Vatican Museum where it stores his crypto archives. All right. And just share it to X, trying to support in my own way. Thank you for supporting. Make sure you go out there and support Maximus Crypto. All right, folks, let's get to the very last one here. All right. Oh, let me put this up because it's important. So, folks, I have talked about SPURX. That's called SPA. I told my community that was a fourth topic I was looking at this cycle would be the ecosystems of these stable coins. So with that being said, SPURX is one that I have looked at. Now, I was talking about SPA when it was 0.002 a penny. SPA went up to my belief, off the top of my head, I may be wrong, but a little bit over 1.2 or 1.5 cents at its top. I'm pretty sure it's 1.5 cents. Can you imagine that if you had $1,000 in that and you had listened to my conversation about that in January, what potential you would have had with both that one, the decentralized moves, and also with this current project of Swift. Now, again, did I do anything special? I provided you research. You made the decisions, whether you liked that technology or not, but that's the result. So we bring receipts. I'm holding Swift at 10 billion market cap, so I can quit my job. I heard that, G. I'm not G, excuse me. Hedorado 85. All right. I know you'll cover SPA soon. Have to keep an eye on stablecoin regulations. Absolutely. All right. Last but not least, folks, we're in 1 hour and 39 minutes. It's going to be a time coded video. And I want to make sure we get everything out there. Last but not least, if I have it here, oh, we go. I went backwards. So part 2 of MetaPath part 2. So I may have had the wrong one up first, but let's talk about MetaPath part 2. This is the latest one I've done. MetaPath part 2. You learned about a lot of information with MetaPath part 2. If you go to that, it's time coded as well. What questions do you have about MetaPath part 2? And let me know. I think it's important that we look at those questions and that we are able to find things of interest about that project. All right, I'll give you a moment. If you have any questions, let me know. All right, we're going to sum this up. Let me go ahead and give again a shout out. Thank you very much. We got us tonight. I was supported by E. Thank you very much, E. I was supported by Gerardo 85 for the research, and he did it 2 times. Thank you very much. It was very much noticed. I also was supported by Mordan, and I'm saying it wrong. I apologize. I'm a country boy, so I said it wrong, but thank you for your support. I appreciate it. Black Rue Investing as well. And everything that you provide, I'm utilizing to build this platform to get into closed source information. That's a subscription to help me to provide more resources to you in conjunction to my background experience in cyber investigations. All right, folks. Woo, that was a lot. If you have any last minute questions, let me know. I'm going to go back to community comments. In the next few minutes, we're going to shut this thing down. So let's see what we have here. I know you'll cover SPA soon. That's the last one I have. And I have no other live chats at this time. Let me see if there's anything in the regular comments. Okay. I'm looking. I don't see anything in the regular comments. Now, I will say this, and I'm going to take this off the screen. A final thought that actually has occurred. I can't find it right now, but I did. I think here it is. Is it going here? Yeah. Perfect. Let me show you this really quickly because I want to make sure I cover everything and give you an opportunity. You can always leave a comment. I will leave this and make it a question. So if you have a comment, so let me make sure. Here we go. Now take a look at this, folks. All right, let me make this full screen. And right now, okay, I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger because I want to make sure you see this because I feel like it's important. So I did 2 surveys. The first survey that I did was today, and the question was: is there a SWFT or MetaPath question and answer live stream interest? I noted that on April 13th, 2024 is the last time I did a question answer session. And because of your comments, that's what made this stream tonight. So 21% of the people, I said, did you want a second session? 21% of you who voted stated that you wanted to hear only about SWIFT. 3% of the people stated that you only want to hear about MetaPath. 68% of the people stated that you wanted to hear about both. And 9% stated that you had no interest or questions about either one of them. Based on your community comments, I will continue to do a series where I touch on both MetaPath and also SWIFT. However, based on the second category, more of you wanted to know more about SWIFT as the second highest percentages. So I will focus my research towards SWIFT. However, I must state to you that it's important to note with this survey that you should know this. You should also recognize that MetaPath is the intellectual property of SWIFT. Excuse me. Yes, right. And by it being the intellectual property of SWIFT, you still should recognize that it's in your interest to know what MetaPath is doing. Now, in my upcoming series, which will be the Money Trail series, this is going to be advanced research that I have for the community of for the membership, so you can find more advanced research. I'll still be doing videos about Swift and MetaPath for the community who are not members of the memberships. But to go into those real deep dives about this particular piece, I think it's important to give this recognition to the 9% as well as the 3%, because I want people to be able to find a happy medium. And apparently your interests are in both. So I recognize and respect that too. But I wanted you to know that. Now, this is what I want to show, and this is not to embarrass anyone. I think it's important that we see everything. So if you go to the comments, this is a live comment. Let me show you what people have stated and some of the negative sentiment as well. So I'll make this a little bit bigger so you can see this, because this is stuff that I want to make sure I address. So we have Handy Freight that says they're interested in my opinion on both. And of course, I replied to them about that. But I want to get here. This is important. Now, again, this is not to disparaging one. This is because it's a public comment left for everyone to see. And the comment was as follows. The one negative sentiment: we never needed SwiftCoin. Don't need it now. Don't need it later. Cross-chain swaps. You can do that in any wallet. Just facts. Now, this represents the 9%. Now, statistically, to me, I can address this, and I did, and I'll show you what I stated. But what I'm looking for here is I appreciate the comment because this is this person's perspective. And unlike others where they leave a one-liner, they says cross-chain swaps, don't need it. Now I'm looking for more information. So I told them, thank you. Don't forget to vote if you haven't already to express your opinion. And then the community make comments. And then here they respond and says, base chain using Uniswap is like 0.002 cents. And then Jay's Direct gave them researchable facts. Zero gas fees is quite attractive. And they talked about that. Now, this is a conversation. These are conversations we should have. Now, keep that in mind. It is okay to not like a technology as long as you have a basis, in my personal opinion, that you base it on. Now, this didn't give me any research about what they didn't like, but it did tell me they didn't like it, and they gave a reason. They believe that everyone has this ability. It's no big deal. So that's, and I can, look at that and see this is what they're looking at. Now, let's check this next one out, and I think this is important. So if I go from there, and hopefully this shows it. Yeah, here we go. If I go from there, let's look at the next one, because I think this is important. This one has 51 votes. This was 3 days ago. How much does Underdog Research channel revealing the connection to MetaPath influence your positive sentiment and outlook on Swift's future? So 51 people responded. 80% stated, greatly influenced my personal outlook and reinforced my beliefs. 8% of you said neutral, neither influenced positively or negatively, 8%. And 12% said did nothing at all. I believe Swift is not a good technology. So based on this, 80% of you and 80% of people who look at Swift, who also are on my platform, look and they see this as positive information they've received. Now, 8%, it didn't do negative or positive. And then 12, they don't believe Swift is good technology, which is only 12. Now, look at the comments for this. Let's go deeper into this. Let's see if I can find it. I don't think I have it here. It must be on a different one, but there was a different comment where it was, I don't think it was negative, but the person had a comment, but it was just a one-liner. And they basically said, let me take this off the screen, that they didn't like the project. All right, here we go. Apologize, folks. I'm trying to do two things at once. So they basically said they didn't like the project. They just said it was a scam project. And they just said one word, scam. And I invited both. There was two people who've said that over the last 7 months. I've only had 2 comments that I've seen that was stated. Earlier in my research, probably month 2 or 3, I had 2 personal attacks against me, negative things said. You know how people get online, which I removed those comments because it's a personal attack. No one's going to control me about what I research and what I share. So if it's not about the project, then and it's about a personal attack on me, that doesn't help you as an investor or as someone interested in that project. So I'll remove those. My point I want to make is if you have a sentiment about a project, you're entitled to have that. But what helps me, if you make a comment on my page, good or bad, if it's bad or negative, then please provide something researchable. For example, if you don't like the project because someone who's invested in a project, that company, you don't like the company and you have a reason you don't like it, put that with it because that gives you, as the viewer, something that you can look up and that can help you. I did this with the patent and trademarks. That was negative sentiment, but by me looking into it, I gave you more information and it helped me to discover MetaPath. It helped me to discover Xing, Xing, and Fidelity. See, the negative can bring you to positive places. So I actually like to see things that push back and scrutinize these projects. Also, one other benefit that you might not have thought about. When I conduct this type of research, it has had a very positive effect in the community. And let me tell you why. Someone prior to this was posting on CoinMarketCap that this was listed on Binance. That means someone bought tokens based on a lie. Someone said they was about to be listed on a certain day. I did a video where I addressed that. I went and conducted research and I refuted that based on the research that that wasn't true. Now, if I wanted to be a content creator, I'll just simply say nothing because that's a positive sentiment to be on Binance, but that's not fair. I think that you should have the ability to distinguish truth from disinformation. My platform is to provide you information of research, neither good nor bad, unbiased as much as I can. I stay on my person, so I get excited, and I also see negative things that I don't personally like, but I try not to include that and let you make the decision. Why should I tell you what to think? I want you to think for yourself. So they then took down their post from CoinMarketCap, but then they reported my post. Online to take it down because they was upset. I'm assuming because I exposed their lie. That's the world we live in. So keep that in mind. A second thing that happened that was positive, there was a CoinDar listing, and it talked about a connection that maybe shouldn't have been listed out there. By me putting my video out there, giving researchable facts, it allowed people to find out about it. And then that was automatically someone took that down. See, what I am seeing when people take information down, it means that I'm hitting on the truth. And as long as I'm hitting on the truth, that means it benefits you. So you want me to do what I'm doing. You need me to do what I'm doing because by me providing these researchable facts, it draws attention to these areas and it forces the companies to look at their products and services and keeps them checked and balanced. The more eyes on a project, the less likely, in my personal opinion, they can do nefarious things. So that's why I do what I do. So I hope that you appreciate that angle, but I feel that that's what you deserve. So let's get right back to the comments and then we're going to wrap this up. Let's see here. Here we go. I'm going up here. Here we go. Here to listen and learn. Thanks, Underdog. Thank you, Maximus Crypto. Yes, too. I would like to learn about both. While I know a decent amount of research regarding Swift blockchain, but you definitely piqued my interest when you introduced MetaPath to community. Thank you. Thank you very much, Maximus. And I'm definitely going to continue to give more about MetaPath based on the statistic they said here too. Any wallet like Bridget. Now, can you explain that? I'm not sure what you mean by that. So leave another comment if you don't mind, Hedorado85. What do you mean by any wallet like Bridget? Maybe Bridget's the name of the wallet, and that's what you're saying, but I don't really understand the comment. So if you don't mind, clarify that for me. He makes a point, and I get that. But for me, it's not just anyone can use cross-chain swaps, but it's who is using this and where. Supply and demand. See, this is why I like Maximus Crypto, folks. I'm telling you, this man, he has a master's in entrepreneurship. as he's stated to his the people who watch him. He is brilliant. He thinks outside the box. He also thinks in multiple layers of chess, and he sees the bigger picture. That's I 100% agree with his assessment of that. It's not a, it's about who. It's about the who. The connections matter. Let's talk the next one. Wallets like Bridgers. What you know about Bridgers? Very good questions. Another community member asked about Bridgers. Bridgers is a separate conversation. We know about MetaPath. We know about SWFT. We know about Path Protocol. I just introduced that to you, and I know we need to learn more. But no one's talking about Bridgers. It's not getting a lot of attention. Again, this is not me. I don't own the company. SWFT doesn't do a good job, in my personal opinion, about their marketing. It's either on purpose by design, or it's not by design. It's by accident. Either way it goes, my personal opinion, if you want to hear my personal perspective, they really have done a lackluster job in truly marketing, explaining, and identifying the significance of these other connections. So Bridgers needs to be looked into. Maybe I don't do the research on Bridgers because there's a lot to look at. Maybe one of the other researchers, but I think that it deserves a good deal of research. I'm about a part of the 80%. I heard that. All right. My policy is don't attack the person, but you can professionally attack the argument with discussion instead of hatred. We need more of agree to disagree. Absolutely, I agree with you. There's no reason whatsoever for anyone to make personal insults and attack on a person who's providing research to you. We don't own the projects. We don't own the companies. And it's a interesting place that we live in now that I am not supposed to, as a researcher, talk about something that I'm interested in. I'm interested personally in SWFT, blockchain, and its utility. I conducted this research on my own before I released it to the community, and I'm choosing to sharing my research with the community. That is my business to do so. And that's what this platform is for, to collaborate and share. And if you don't like that as a person, then just move on. Move on to something else and come back when the person is talking about something that you're interested in, or listen and find out something new. But there's no reason whatsoever we should be attacking each other. Yeah, I don't get it. But people are people. Bridgers, is it powered by SWFT? It is. I see it every day on SwiftX account. Yep, it's powered by SWFT. But again, I can't argue with that. There needs to be more information on it. From my experience perspective, when projects don't focus a lot on marketing, it's wrapped up in NDAs. Jasmine is the perfect example. 2 years ago, covered the Panasonic connection last April, confirmed. That's it. And this is a good point too. When we talk about these companies, NDAs is a real thing. So we don't know if there's a non-disclosure agreement. We don't know if it's bad marketing. And so I appreciate you saying that, Maximus Crypto, because again, I gave my perspective. A lot of people may not give it that much time and see how Maximus Crypto had a different perspective. Who knows which one's right? Both of them are valid perspectives. But yes, it could be an NDA. There's a lot of reasons why companies don't tell things, and that could be one of them. All right. Now, folks, at this time, we have went through all comments. I encourage you to leave a comment after this video is posted. I will, in the next couple of days, time code this video and time code each question. I want you to add your question to this list. My next upcoming question answer session will be based off what you leave in the comments. Again, I'm Underdog Research Channel. I appreciate you being here today. Thanks for supporting the channel. If you want to support the channel, simply click that thanks, super thanks, or a super chat. What I'll use the information and the data, and also what I'll use is the funds that you provide to this channel to support me get into more subscription and closed source data. Currently, I use open source intelligence and my background in cyber investigations. By me having access to your support, it will allow me to get new tools, different tools, advanced tools that are paid. And that way I can find out information I can't currently find out. And if you do like this type of content, then show it with your support and also your engagement. I really appreciate you being here. A last comment here. I want to put this up. God bless you always, brother Underdog. You're much appreciated in the space. Take care, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you for everyone for coming tonight. I greatly appreciate it. Please get caught up on the videos, and I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you being here today. Please leave your comments. Until next time, this has been the Underdog Research Channel. Have a good night.
You've reached the right place, the right channel. The Underdog Research Channel, and I'm the principal researcher of all things technology, Underdog Researcher, where we put the research over the hype. Let's get started.